Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Welcome to the City by the Bay, beautiful San Francisco, California, and the commissioning of United States ship Tulsa. I am Commander Brandon Corns, the ship's executive officer. It is my privilege to be your master of ceremonies today. Before your ceremony begins, please silence your cell phones. We are here today to celebrate the commissioning of USS Tulsa LCS-16. The ship before you is christened in Mobile, Alabama on February 11, 2017. Today she is complete, and this crew is on the newest warship in the United States Navy. Our crew is dedicated to carrying on the proud traditions the previous U.S. Navy ship to bear the name Tulsa, and to honor the great city whose name she bears. The first USS Tulsa, PG-22, nicknamed the Galloping Ghost of the South China Coast, was an Asheville-class gunboat of the United States Navy that was in commission from 1923 to 1946. She operated in the Pacific Fleet prior to and during World War II. For her service, she was awarded 4 battle stars: the 2nd Nicaraguan Campaign Medal, Yangtze Service Medal, China Service Medal, American Defense Service Medal with clasp, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal with 2 battle stars, World War II Victory Medal, and the Philippine Defense Medal. In the same spirit of selfless sacrifice and devotion of the previous ship to bear the name Tulsa, the ship will sail the oceans and will stand vigilant against those who would threaten democracy and freedom. Our ceremony today is a time-honored tradition which began with the commissioning of our first warship, a captured British schooner, the Margareta, in 1775. Since then, thousands of ships have undergone the transformation from silent hulls to fully alive warships. Our commissioning crew, hereafter known as plank owners, are in formation among you and ready to bring our ship alive. In just a few moments, the Navy Band Southwest will render honors to the Honorable James Langford. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of our official party, honors, presentation of colors, the national anthem, and the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, our platform guests. Lieutenant Commander Scott Shields, United States Navy, Chaplains Corps, Littoral Combat Ship Squadron 1, Command Chaplain. Commander Christopher Addington, United States Navy, Littoral Combat Ships Program Manager's Representative, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, Gulf Coast. Captain Michael Taylor, United States Navy, Program Manager, Littoral Combat Ships. Captain Matthew McGonigal, United States Navy, Commander, Littoral Combat Ship Squadron 1. Mr. Steve Gherkin, Co-Chairman, USS Tulsa Commissioning Committee, Tulsa. Mr. Jerry Parkhurst, Co-Chairman, USS Tulsa Commissioning Committee, Tulsa. Rear Admiral Doug Moore, United States Navy, retired, Chairman, USS Tulsa Commissioning Committee, San Francisco. Mr. Craig Percivali, President, Austal, USA. Rear Admiral John Nagley, United States Navy, Program Executive Officer for Unmanned and Small Combatants. The Honorable G.T. Bynum, Mayor, City of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Admiral John C. Aquilino, Commander, United States Pacific Fleet. The Honorable James Gertz, Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, and Acquisition. The Honorable London Breed, Mayor, City of San Francisco, California. The Honorable Kevin Hearn, United States Representative, 1st District, State of Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, our ship's sponsor, the Honorable Kathy Taylor, escorted by Master Chief Van Troy Sibilia Martinez, United States Navy, Tulsa's Command Master Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable James Langford, United States Senator, State of Oklahoma, escorted by Commander Drew Borvies, United States Navy, Tulsa's Commanding Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, honors to the Honorable James Langford. Platform, hand salute. Platform, ready to advance the colors. Retire the colors. Platform, ready to. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Shields will deliver the invocation.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let us pray. Eternal Father, we who have traveled from both near and far to gather here today, and we who are watching from our homes, from Legion halls and VFW halls in Oklahoma, to share in the joy and excitement of this day, we welcome you, Lord, as our most honored guest. Thank you for this day, Lord, for the break in the weather, and for all the amazing people who worked diligently in the pouring rain and behind the scenes this week to make this day a success, including the City of San Francisco, LCS Crew 214, and our team of reservists from around the country. As USS Tulsa is commissioned today into the world's finest Navy, and joins the ever-expanding fleet of littoral combat ships. We are grateful, Lord, for each and every person that has invested much into her planning, construction, and operation. Grant them all a great sense of accomplishment and pride this day. Hallow the legacy of USS Tulsa, and grant that Tulsans in the great city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, would be properly honored in ports throughout the world by the outstanding service of this amazing warship and the professionalism, skill, and excellence of her roughneck officers and crew in the execution of every mission they are given. Gracious Lord, we celebrate this joyous day with a deep sense of gratitude for your presence with us and for the dedication of these sailors and their families, and for everyone who has worked hard to bring this ship to life today. We now ask your blessing upon this ceremony of naval tradition, upon USS Tulsa, and upon all who are here to witness this grand celebration. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Shields. We would like to thank the Navy Band Southwest and the Golden Gate Young Marines Color Guard for their support this morning. Will the guests please be seated? Tulsa, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable London Breed.
Good morning, everyone. And for those of you visiting, welcome to San Francisco. On behalf of the City and County of San Francisco, I'd like to welcome you all to this amazing waterfront as we celebrate the commissioning of the LCS USS Tulsa. A special welcome to our distinguished guests from the United States Navy, representatives from Oklahoma, local elected and city officials, and all of our visitors from far and near. From the Candlestick up to the Fisherman's Wharf, our waterfront is one of San Francisco's most crucial resources. As a key point of evacuations and first responders in case of emergency or natural disasters, as a barrier to protect our residents from rising sea levels, climate change, or as a beautiful place, our residents and visitors to take a walk, to stroll along the bay. But our waterfront is also home to our long history as a maritime city. The shipyards in Hunters Point and along our southern waterfront created a strong maritime economy that helped build the waterfront that you all see today. The dry docks and our local workforce supported critical wartime efforts during World War II, and they created jobs for so many. My grandfather was one of those many San Franciscans who served in the military and worked at the shipyard. Through the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard pre-apprenticeship programs, they trained young people to work in the shipyard shops. The program was considered one of the most successful local job training efforts in the United States at the time. The increase in works led to the creation of the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood, a neighborhood that is rich in history and culture, and that continues to grow as we transition the shipyards into housing, commercial space, and parks for all to enjoy. San Francisco's past, present, and future are linked to our status as a maritime city, and I am honored to be here to celebrate the tradition with all of you here today. We are a city that honors our men and women in uniform. Every October, we host Fleet Week, which draws millions of people from around the world for an amazing air show and parade. It is always a great week seeing our service members out in uniform, enjoying our restaurants and our neighborhoods. During Fleet Week, we also practice emergency preparedness drills with our partners in the armed services, because we know that when disaster strikes, we will all work together to protect our city and our country. And as our city continues to grow, We preserve our maritime and military history and many historic landmarks. From the forts in the Presidio to our Veterans Memorial Building right across the street from City Hall, I am honored that the City and County of San Francisco is the setting for the USS Tulsa's final step to joining the Navy fleet and protecting our country. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Craig Percivalle.
Mayor Taylor, Senator Lankford, Congressman Hearn, Mayor Breed, Mayor Bynum, Secretary Gertz, Admiral Aquilina, Admiral Nagley, Commander Borovies, and crew, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud to represent the industry team consisting of about 4,000 of the finest shipbuilding professionals in the country, along with our partners at General Dynamics Mission Systems and 700 other suppliers across 40 states. Men and women so proud to have built the ship that you see behind us, the soon-to-be USS Tulsa, and without a doubt, the absolute coolest ship on the planet. That's right. Tulsa, with the ability to travel at speeds at over 40 knots, has an unprecedented balance of speed, volume, flexibility, and firepower to meet the needs of today's Navy, while also being able to adapt to the needs of the Navy of tomorrow. The Navy industry team that built Tulsa in Mobile is one of the best in the country, delivering 2 LCS ships per year, on cost and on schedule. Admiral Nagley, Captain Taylor, Commander Addington, thank you and your teams for your leadership and support, as it has certainly enabled this program to be the success that it is today. Secretary Gertz, Admiral Aquilino, thank you for giving us the opportunity to build this great ship. Doing so is an obligation we take very, very seriously, knowing the vital role that we play in strengthening the fleet. Commander Borovies, we built you a great ship, one that will serve you and your crew well across the globe as you take her to the tip of the spear to defend our freedom. We thank you and your crew for your service, and we wish you fair winds and following seas, and know we will always be there to support you. Ladies and gentlemen, as a shipbuilder, this is what it's all about. This is truly what we live for. Watching your ship, named after a great city like Tulsa, with one of the most passionate and energetic sponsors I've ever met, in Kathy Taylor, brought to life by the greatest sailors in the world. It just doesn't get any better than this. God bless the ship, all those who sail in her, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Percivalle. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable G.T. Bynum.
What a great morning. On behalf of my fellow Tulsans, first want to thank President Donald Trump and Secretary Gertz for honoring our city in this way. I want to thank Senator Jim Inhofe, Senator James Lankford, and Representative Kevin Hearn for being the voices of our community in their steadfast support for America's armed forces. I want to thank the ship's sponsor, Kathy Taylor, and everyone who has served on the USS Tulsa Commissioning Committee for their hard work over several years for properly honoring this ship and its crew. Tulsa is a city forged by resilience. It was founded by Creek Indians who had been driven from their homeland. They carried the ashes from the last fire in that homeland the entire length of the Trail of Tears and buried those ashes at the foot of the Council Oak, not to mourn defeat, but to found a new city, Tulsa. Tulsans endured one of the worst instances of racial violence in American history in 1921, but they didn't turn around and leave behind their burned out homes and businesses. They rebuilt them. Tulsans have endured routine flooding thanks to our plentiful water supply. We've endured drought because of our location in the Dust Bowl that sent so many Okies out here to California. We've endured tornadoes because of our location in Tornado Alley, where more tornadoes occur than anywhere else in the world. Our local economy has ridden the booms and the busts of the energy industry, and today, Tulsa is as strong and as vibrant as it has ever been. How does that happen in an environment like that and with challenges like that? It happens because of the kind of people who have been forged in the fire of those challenges. Generation after generation, those people are resilient. We lend a hand to our neighbor. It's what makes us America's most generous city. We are, you might say, tough, able, and ready, just as the motto of the USS Tulsa proclaims. I say all of this because I want the crew of the USS Tulsa to know the kind of people who are so honored to share the bond of a common name, Tulsan, with you. That's why we came here by the hundreds on this day in the wind and the rain, and it's why there are hundreds more back home watching this online right now and cheering you on. So wherever you are in the world, whatever day it might be or whatever hour in that day, we hope that you know that there are hundreds of thousands of your fellow Tulsans who are thinking of you, who are honored to be associated with you, and who are so proud of you. To the men and women who will serve our country on the USS Tulsa today and so long as she may sail, we say thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bynum. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral John C. Occolino.
Good morning. Senator Langford, Congressman Hearn, first of all, thank you for your tremendous support to our Navy. We appreciate your efforts in Washington. Thank you very, very much. Secretary Gertz, thanks for all you do as well, my friend. Mayor Breed, Mayor Bynum, Mayor Taylor, or Kathy, the most important person of the day. Admiral, shipmates, family and friends, and tremendous supporters from the wonderful states and cities of San Francisco and Oklahoma. Thank you very much for being here today. What a great Navy Day. The reason it's a great Navy Day is because we get to welcome a new ship to the Pacific Fleet. And the symbol that the USS Tulsa provides is exactly what we need today, and that is the Navy the nation needs to fight and win. That Navy is bigger. That Navy is more lethal. That Navy is networked, and that Navy is ready. And the Tulsa, I know, will be ready to join today. Having the right mix of ships with the right numbers of ships to include the Tulsa makes us ready to execute prompt and sustained combat operations at sea to fight and win against any adversary. And let there be no doubt, that's what the Tulsa will be ready to do. So to the captain and the crew of the Tulsa, it was my pleasure to sit and meet with you today and have a conversation. I have confidence that this ship and this crew will be ready when called upon. From the Pacific Fleet, I want to thank everyone for being here and taking part of this wonderful ceremony. It's time to get Tulsa plugged in and into the fleet and get ready to operate. Thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, Admiral Calif. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Kevin Hearn.
It's exciting to be here with you today as we commemorate the new USS Tulsa. The USS Tulsa bears the name and carries the legacy of a truly great city. Tulsa was once the oil capital of the world, but since has become a vibrant modern metro and a leader of innovation in the 21st century. Tulsa melds the best of the South, the Southwest, the Midwest, resulting in a distinct and unique culture. Tulsans are kind, intelligent, friendly, and engaging. I am proud to represent Tulsa and her people in the United States House of Representatives and to represent them here today in this major milestone on the path to active duty for the USS Tulsa. The first ship to bear Tulsa's name was commissioned on December 3rd, 1923. It was a gunboat that served throughout World War II and received 2 battle stars. So the ship we're commissioning today has some big shoes to fill. The USS Tulsa's predecessor carried brave American warriors around the world to protect our national interest. I look forward to what the new USS Tulsa and her crew accomplish. Congratulations to her skipper. She's got 3 great kids down there. We're going to be very proud of you, skipper. And the brave men and women who will keep her steady in the mission to protect our freedoms from those who want to do us harm around the world. To all the engineers, contractors, and suppliers, bravo Zulu. To the Tulsa community is strong and determined and resilient, and I'm sure that the sailors of the new USS Tulsa will be the same. To all of the men and women who have served and are now serving, thank you for your service to the United States of America. To the USS Tulsa, in your service to our great nation, thank you for your service. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Representative Hearn. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable James Gertz.
Morning, everyone. So the good news is you made it to the 7th inning stretch. Pretty soon you're going to see us bring this amazing warship to life and honor all those who are going to serve, honor, and protect our country going forward here on the Tulsa. To distinguished platform guests, wonderful ship sponsor Kathy, veterans, shipbuilders, fellow service members, friends, family, supporters of the Navy, thank you for coming out here today. It's great to be back in San Francisco. I grew up here sailing right past this pier, and I probably would have never guessed 30 years in the future I'd be here commissioning an awesome warship into the Navy. It is great to be back. You guys have done an amazing job supporting our military throughout its history, and in particular supporting our Navy families. And for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Welcome to all the folks from Oklahoma, another great state known for supporting its military and their families. It's awesome to have you here with us. Participating in these commissioning ceremonies are one of the most heartwarming and fulfilling duties I get to do as secretary. Because it's one of these places where we really bring 2 traits that are key in the Navy and our nation together, and that's teamwork and commitment. The teamwork and commitment of our shipbuilders, thousands of suppliers, all working hard to deliver the warship. Teamwork and commitment of the crew and their families, who have spent countless hours training, preparing, getting ready to take this ship to war. And the teamwork and commitment from our American people in Congress. Without all of us working together, we would not be able to build the Navy the nation needs. It's an exciting time in the Navy, as Admiral Aquilino said. We are commissioning this ship. I believe it'll be, by the time we're done, the 5th ship we've commissioned in 50 days. It will be the 13th ship we'll commission this year, one of 13. That's up from 8 last year. And so all the hard work, whether it's folks in uniform, the families, the shipbuilders, the program folks, all coming together, we're putting the Navy the nation needs out there for all of us. Now, being in San Francisco, you have kind of a Star Wars looking ship here. It's a pretty awesome machine. You know, we couldn't do our job if we didn't mix in a little bit of special technology and some secret weapons. Admiral Aquilino is always challenging me to come up with the next new technology or weapon to put on the ship. This ship's being fielded with something we've never fielded on any other ship before. It's our secret weapon, and that's our ship sponsor. Yeah. As you'll see in a minute, she brings more energy than any quantum computer could. And that's going to be an awesome, awesome thing. Thank you, Kathy, for all you've done and you will do to keep this ship going. Well, with its well-trained crew, the support of everybody here, the support of all of you in Oklahoma, with the support of the American people, there's no doubt in my mind, I'm confident that USS Tulsa is ready to join the line and defend our great nation. God bless this ship, her crew and their families. God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Now it's time to bring on the cleanup hitter. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, that's Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. Senator Lankford's work on behalf of our country, our military, has been unwavering, and quite frankly, we would not be able to put the Navy the nation needs into service without all of his hard work. He's got a proven record of fighting to ensure your tax dollars are being well spent and that the government's providing the most effective use of those dollars in defense of this nation. Please join me in welcoming Senator Lankford as our guest speaker. There you go, sir.
Well, I want to say welcome, but then I have to do the welcome as we've done before. Welcome, Mayor, 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 Mayor. Welcome. Thank you for being here, Admiral, 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 Representative, Senator, to keep going from there. This is a pretty remarkable group of people that have gathered to be able to celebrate a pretty remarkable day in our nation's history. This is not just about Oklahoma history and Oklahoma tradition, it's American tradition. Commander, you're going to be plank owner of a ship that carries more than 2 centuries of tradition, of honor, of courage, and commitment of the United States Navy. And this ship is an essential part of the future of our nation. It also bears a name. In the 1820s, the federal government evicted the Muskogee Creek tribe from their ancestral lands in southeastern United States to march to the present-day eastern Oklahoma. That was then called Indian Territory. They were joined there and joined others that were already there, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, and the Seminole people. Rolling hills, tall trees, the Arkansas River made that place incredibly peaceful and majestic. The Muskogee called their new settlement Tulsa. It means the old town. We call it Tulsa today. Methodist and Presbyterian missionaries started coming to what would be Tulsa in the 1800s. The community is still rich in faith and in heritage, hosting large faith universities, private schools, churches, and synagogues. The people of Tulsa not only have faith, they live their faith, being some of the most caring and generous people in the world. In the late 1800s, the streets were developed and some trading posts were opened. The city of Tulsa was officially founded January the 18th, 1898, with around 1,000 people in Tulsa at that time. Officially, in fact, in the census of 1900, 1,400 people lived in Tulsa. And then, oil was found the very next year after that census was taken, where 1,400 people lived in Tulsa. In 1900, by 1920, there were 72,000 people that lived in Tulsa. In 1901, oil was struck in Red Fork, now a neighborhood in southwest Tulsa. In 1905, the Glenpool oil field was discovered, which is still producing even to this day. By the time Oklahoma became a state in 1907, nearly 100 oil companies had set up shop around Glenpool alone. By the 1920s, Tulsa was called the oil capital of the world, which Houston, Texas now falsely claims, but it is still in Oklahoma. Pipeline companies, refineries, geologists, engineers, oil and gas companies all still thrive in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Commander, there's a good chance that when you fill up the diesel tanks of the Tulsa, some of the fuel or the infrastructure that got that fuel to you was based in Tulsa, Oklahoma. As you represent Tulsa in the United States of America, you will also be empowered by the strength of our nation and the energy of our state. but Tulsa's far from just an oil town. The Tulsa Port of Catoosa on the Verdigris and Arkansas rivers ranks among America's busiest inland river ports. When you fly on American Airlines, there's a pretty good chance that aircraft was maintained in Tulsa. Tulsa, in fact, is a hub for aeronautics of all types. She has a thriving economy around all types of manufacturing. If you like the taste of pie, we'll introduce you to Bama Pies in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if you ever eat a pie at McDonald's, pretty likely it came from Tulsa, Oklahoma at Bama Pies. Here's a fun fact for you. When you ever pull up to an intersection and you slow down, say thank you to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Because in 1950, Tulsa police officer Clinton Riggs invented the yield sign. First tested out his new invention of the yield sign at 1st Street and Columbia Avenue, people actually did slow down and it worked. So it proliferated all over Tulsa, then all over America, then all over the world. You're welcome, by the way. Speaking of driving, in 1924, when the federal government started planning an interstate highway from Chicago to Los Angeles, businessman and highway commissioner from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Cyrus Arie, lobbied to run that route instead of across the Rockies, southwest through Arizona, New Mexico, the Texas Panhandle, and take a turn towards Chicago right out of Tulsa. Route 66 is a major part of the Tulsa heritage. The spirit of the Mother Road, hospitality, adventure, and some family fun still exists in Tulsa, and I was proud to walk through the USS Tulsa yesterday and see right outside of the dining facility a big Route 66 sign right on the door. She looked very natural there. The best-selling solo artist of all time, Garth Brooks. You humming a few songs in your head right now? You can say thank you to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Garth was born in Tulsa in 1962. If country music's not your thing, how about some pop music? Some brothers named Isaac Taylor and Zach Hansen formed the band Hansen, and they first appeared as the Tulsa natives at the Tulsa annual Mayfest street festivals when the boys were just 7, 9, and 12. You should probably put your 3 kids together on a band, Commander. We'll see how that works out. Recently reopened the Big Ten Ballroom in North Tulsa was one of the hottest places in all of America for black musicians like Count Basie and the Temptations and countless others to perform during a painful season in our country when black musicians were not allowed to perform in many venues around the country. In fact, Greenwood in North Tulsa was called Black Wall Street because of all the commercial development and entrepreneurship. That thriving and prosperous black community was destroyed in 1921 during one of the worst race riots in the history of our nation when white residents burned down Greenwood and massacred countless black residents that night. In the recent decades, meaningful work has begun to restore Greenwood and to make it a place again of opportunity and optimism. And on May the 31st of 2021, Tulsa will stop and remember that horrible day a century in our past and will declare our commitment to make sure our state and our nation never forget who we were and will never return to that kind of blind hatred and anger ever again. Today, our diversity continues to grow across the region in communities, in business, and in government. People from all over the world come to Tulsa to work. They come as refugees to start life all over again. Tribal members are leaders and an integral part of the Tulsa community. Tulsa has reinvented herself for decades and decades, proving economic and cultural resilience. By the 1950s, not only was Tulsa called the oil capital of the world, she was also dubbed America's most beautiful city. Sorry about that, Mayor. Tulsa's a remarkable city of rolling hills, beautiful trees, the river running through her, but also because of our many parks, museums, and open spaces in Tulsa. Tulsa's Gilcrease and Philbrook museums house incredible collections of art and hundreds of thousands of artifacts, including a handwritten copy of the Declaration of Independence. The BOK Center is an amazing venue for concerts. Downtown Tulsa has spectacular Art Deco buildings throughout. And the newest public place in Tulsa is by far the most magnificent, the Gathering Place. Along the river in central Tulsa, it cannot be described. It has to be experienced. designed to bring people together from all areas of Tulsa, of all backgrounds, of all types, to develop friendships and long-term relationships. It not only accomplishes that goal, the gathering place surpasses all expectations. One thing you should know about Tulsans: Tulsans hate to be second. They don't mind doing the work, giving up the time, giving up their treasure to make sure they're never second. To the sailors of the Tulsa, you bear our name. We're a proud, diverse, and creative people who love to serve, who are not afraid to speak out and are willing to humble ourselves before our God. You represent the United States of America, the strongest, most powerful, most moral nation on earth. When you arrive at any port of our nation or any port around the globe, you will bear all of our names and all of our history. You are fast, you're agile, you're capable of operating in all environments. Your mission to protect our seas and deter aggression, but when deterrence fails, we also know you're fully capable of restoring the peace. Your actions, your words, your faith, your discipline, and your power will reveal to a curious world just who we are as Americans. You are our ambassadors for freedom, and you bear the name Tulsa in the United States of America. On a railroad overpass in downtown Tulsa, there's a brick circle laid on the ground which has locally been dubbed the center of the universe. People love to stand in the center of that circle and to shout just to be able to hear the echo. Today, the city of Tulsa has a new echo, the USS Tulsa. You'll carry our values to the world, and today, we're proud to share our name with you. God bless you, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Senator Langford. Secretary Gertz, I would be honored if you would now place Tulsa in commission.
Before I do that, I want to recognize a person here on the stage. Admiral Nagley here is, he's been at about 10 of these commissionings, always sitting in the back, making sure his people get all the attention. John served the nation now well over 3 decades, both as a commander at sea and now in charge of all the teams that build these awesome ships. So if you'd bear me the opportunity here, John, I'd like you to come up. And John, on my behalf and on the President's behalf, can you put this ship in commission?
On behalf of the Secretary of the Navy and the President of the United States, I hereby place United States ship Tulsa in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail her.
Hold on.
Executive Officer, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and direct your attention to the ship's mast, forecastle, and fantail as we hoist the colors and commission pennant. Tulsa, attention. Quartermaster, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the colors and commission pennant are flying over USS Tulsa.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
I will now read my orders. From Commander, Navy Military Personnel Command, to Commander Drew Borges, United States Navy. Subject, Buper's Order number 2366 of 8 December 2016. When directed by Reporting Senior, detach from present duty and report to Pre-Commissioning Unit Tulsa as Commanding Officer. Upon commissioning of USS Tulsa, report for duty as Commanding Officer. Admiral Aquilino, United States ship Tulsa is in commission, and I am in command. Executive Officer. Set the watch.
Aye, aye, sir. Officer deck, set the first watch.
Aye, sir.
The officer deck is the commanding officer's direct representative, and while on watch is responsible for the safe operation of the ship and crew. The long glass is a traditional symbol of an officer deck's authority in a ship of the line. We are pleased to have the City of Tulsa's mayor with us today. Mayor Bynum will pass the long glass to our first officer deck, Chief John E. Dyer from Mangum, Oklahoma. The Petty Officer Watch is Petty Officer First Class Marquita R. Ensley from Gastonia, North Carolina. The Messenger of the Watch is Petty Officer Second Class Santiago Flores from Clovis, New Mexico. And the Boatswain's Mate of the Watch is Petty Officer First Class Preston McCoy from Overbrook, Kansas.
Set the watch. On deck, Section 1. Detail. Right. Face. Sir, the watch is set.
Very well. Captain, the watch is set.
Very well. We are delighted to have our sponsor, Mrs. Kathy Taylor, with us today. Mayor Taylor christened the ship in Mobile, Alabama in February 2017. And Kathy, I would be honored if you would join me and give the order to man our ship and bring her to life.
This is the moment you've been waiting for. I thank you, Commander, and I thank the hundreds of Tulsans who have traveled here today in Oklahoma to witness this pinnacle of modern naval technology, and to those around the world and in the American Legion Hall in Tulsa watching with us. I am pleased to have the privilege of serving as a sponsor of this ship, a ship that is truly worthy to carry Tulsa's name, Tulsa's spirit, and our heritage. Because just like the USS Tulsa, the city of Tulsa has been agile. We've dropped anchor and we've fought hard through the hard times, but then we've refitted, modernized, and we've moved forward. And just like the USS Tulsa and her crew, we have found that the strength of Tulsa lies in the talents of our people and our leadership. So I want to thank our commander for his inspirational leadership of this ship. I also want to specifically thank the ship's crew and their families. It's an honor and a solemn privilege to be the leader of this ship, and for my daughter, Elizabeth Frame Ellison, to be the maid of the ship. But I am joined today also by my husband, Bill Lobeck, son-in-law Chris Ellison, and grandsons Taylor and Wyatt, who welcomed the ship aboard the fireboat from San Francisco. Joining me is Hank Pellegrini, son-in-law, with grandsons Will and Charlie, my sister Patty and her husband Roger, brother Jim, and his wife Melinda. And as a family, we honor the memory of our father, Chief Signalman Jim Taylor, who served in World War II aboard the USS Bollinger. Now, without question, my father would love this day, and he would be proud of this ship because it symbolizes the strength and the power of this great country that he served. But what I believe is that his gaze would look beyond the horizon, out to the sea, to the real point of why we are here today, and that is to protect and defend the promises made to my father's grandchildren and his great-grandchildren here today. Because I have gotten to know the crew of this exceptional USS Tulsa, and I know they will fight when they must. I know they will protect this country at all costs, because they know everything they fight for and everything they protect keeps the promises made to all Americans. And as sponsor, our family pledges to you, we will keep our promise to the USS Tulsa and all who guide her to be steadfast with our support always. Now, officers and crew of the USS Tulsa, man our ship and bring her to life. Aye, aye, aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the crew of USS Tulsa salutes you. We are proud to serve in your great Navy. Tulsa, ready to? Will the guests please be seated? Captain, USS Tulsa is manned and ready.
Very well. Commodore McGonigal, USS Tulsa is manned and ready and reports for duty.
Very well.
Secretary Gertz, request permission to break your flag over USS Tulsa.
Permission granted.
Executive Officer, break the flag of the Assistant Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir. Quartermaster, break the flag of the Assistant Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the flag of the Assistant Secretary of the Navy is flying over USS Tulsa.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Drew Borvies, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Tulsa.
Tulsa, parade, rest. Senator Langford, Representative Hearn, Mayor Breed, Secretary Gertz, Admiral Aquilino, Mayors Bynum and Taylor, Rear Admiral Negley, Mr. Percivale, Rear Admiral Moore, Flag and General's Officer in attendance, Commodore, and sorry, again, our ship sponsor, Ms. Kathy Taylor. Thank you for being a part of this great day. I'd like to extend a warm and gracious thank you to the city of San Francisco for welcoming our ship, crew, family, and friends to your wonderful city. While the commission USS Tulsa in San Francisco started a little over a year ago, it was 90 years ago, almost to the day, that the crew of the first USS Tulsa bid farewell to the continental United States when they sailed from San Francisco to take station in the Far East. And then 17 years later, returning now as a battle-proven veteran warship, that their first sight returning from the Pacific was the Golden Gate Bridge as they made their way into San Francisco. The opportunity to bring our USS Tulsa to life in the same city is incredible, and I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to you and your community for making that happen. But I'd also like to thank the city of Tulsa for those Tulsans who were able to travel to the ceremony today. A little over a year ago, members of our crew were fortunate enough to travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma to learn about the city and the people whose name they would share. The hospitality displayed during that visit was truly amazing, and I know that the crew who were fortunate enough to make that trip brought the spirit of Tulsa back home and that it will live on in our ship for years to come. And the fact that so many of you came to San Francisco to attend this ceremony today shows the measure of dedication and excitement it has for the USS Tulsa. And Mayor Bynum, I assure you, we will do all we can to make you and the people of Tulsa as proud of this ship that bears their name as we are. The path to today's commissioning began over 3 years ago when Tulsa sponsor Mrs. Kathy Taylor assisted with laying the keel in Mobile, Alabama, and then later christened the ship in February of 2017. I can truly say that USS Tulsa could not have asked for a better sponsor, and that if I know one person who embodies our ship's motto, tough, able, and ready, it is her. Kathy, if our ship can take on even a fraction of your character, I know that she will serve with distinction for many years to come. And we will always look forward to you and your family's visits and do our best to make you all proud. The Independence variant Littoral Combat Ship in front of you is a high-speed, shallow draft, multi-mission ship designed to operate in nearshore environments and open ocean alike and to win against 21st century coastal threats to include submarines, mines, and swarming small craft. She is also, it must be said, a ship that turns heads from both inside and outside her lifelines. To walk her decks, to see the technology present at every turn, or to see her pulling into port from the decks of another vessel or from a pier results in double takes from both seasoned Navy hands and interested tourists alike. And you may have heard the words fast mentioned a couple times. Well, I can tell you with some authority that when all her main engines are online and her throttles are pushed all the way forward, Tulsa moves. And that motorcycle you may have heard, I think we need to do a rematch when we get Tulsa underway here next week and just see who wins. She truly is ship and an amazing addition to the fleet. But as impressive as she is, she would be nothing without the sailors you see lining her deck this morning. Over 3 years ago, about the time their future ship's keel was laid, the first members of Tulsa crew reported for duty. In the intervening years, they excelled in hundreds of advanced technical courses of instruction. They logged thousands of hours in the most advanced simulators in the Navy, and when their ship was ready for them, they walked and learned their future ship from stem to stern. They conducted countless damage control, engineering and force protection drills. They passed fleet inspections with outstanding results, setting the standard for the crews behind them. And most importantly, when they were handed the keys to depart from Tulsa's birthplace of Mobile, they safely sailed their ship thousands of miles, in and out of 10 ports, alongside fleet oilers, helicopters over deck, and into San Francisco to formally enter the fleet today. But as much as they have already accomplished, they know that their true greatness lies ahead of them as Tulsa enters the fleet and stands ready to answer her nation's call. Having had the distinct pleasure of leading them over the past 2 years, I can say without a doubt, they're the finest sailors our great Navy has to offer. They are tough, able, and ready to take our nation's newest warship to sea. And to our family and friends and loved ones, you truly have the hardest job in the Navy. When you owe you a sincere debt of gratitude for the strength and resilience you showed as we focused on bringing our ship to life. Know that every past and future success of the Tulsa and her crew are due to your support and strength. We're blessed that after years of hard work and months of separation as we brought the ship to life and sailed her home, that we were able to share this special day with so many of you. Again, thank you all for joining us on this special day as we brought Tulsa to life. We look forward to having you aboard, showing off our brand new ship and our home to you. But if you want to take a tour and take a look while she's in San Francisco, do it today or this weekend, because early next week, USS Tulsa is going that way to sea, to get on about her business as the newest ship in the fleet. Thank you.
Tulsa, attention. Will the guests please rise for the benediction?
Let us pray. Eternal Father, from whom we come and to whom we will ultimately return, we commend USS Tulsa, her captain, officers, and crew, and their loyal and dedicated families to your constant care and keeping, as well as the thousands of future sailors who will run her ships, cook her meals, fix her machines, hoist her flags, and navigate her upon the oceans and seas of the world with power and resolve. May this warship and her sailors remain tough, able, and ready, a respected adversary in conflict, an effective deterrent to war, a welcome sight in every port, and a symbol and means of compassion and assistance to those whose misfortunes make their means of survival, hope, and peace. Grant that USS Tulsa's name would be great among those whose judgment is honored, and may her fame spread throughout the world so that young sailors desire to sail in her and that the old would admire her many accomplishments. Finally, gracious Lord, grant us all loyalty and devotion to our nation's glorious heritage of freedom and democracy, a gift from you, our founders, and all who have made the ultimate sacrifice to defend freedom and democracy around the world. Uphold and sustain our military in the pursuit of peace through power, and grant that the citizens of our great republic will continue to draw our constant strength, support, and hope from you, whose perfect love is peace, and whose peace is our power. The Lord Almighty bless us and keep us. The Lord watch over our going out and our coming in. The Lord direct our days and our deeds in his peace from this time forth and forevermore. Amen.